Hi, my name is Ambi Daniel, and I'm the Family Support Navigator at Center for Family Life and Recovery. And I'm here to kind of share a little bit about my experience, treatment, recovery, and maybe most importantly, the families. Um, Entering the field for me was a little bit of a fluke. And it's an important part of this story, and so I want to share just a little snippet of that. So I was in my 13th year working in childcare, and I was finishing my degree. And it was really time to see what was out there. And one of the moms who was also there worked for a treatment agency. And we started talking about the agency, and I thought, this might be a really nice fit. So this did not mean that my path did not include lived experience with recovery. I just didn't realize it. I had no idea that this would turn into not only a career path, but a great opportunity to learn more about myself and how I was impacted by substance use through various facets of my life. I have loved a lot of people who have struggled with substance use. So when I started, I had this much of an idea of what I was really getting into. And the first time that I was left with a person who was working on their recovery and counseling, the first thing that happened was they went into the gory details of their addiction. In my head, I was going, what on earth did I sign up for? And I remembered what someone had told me. One of my professors said, just wait for the person to show up. Wait beyond the details. And then this person started to talk about their child. And not only did that person show up, their why showed up. And this was their way to show how far they had come. So obviously neither one of us ran away that day. That was in 2007. And that first person is still doing really, really well. I am really blessed to see them as a professional in the field and helping others on their journey. This is just one of so many examples how recovery does happen every day. So through that work, I moved through 3 different components working in treatment. Outpatient treatment, day treatment, and residential. So it got progressively more intensive, which also meant I got to know people a lot more intensely. Through all of this, there was this connective piece. The family member showed up. They looked for help, and they could be one of the most powerful pieces in a person's recovery journey. And it was really hard to include them in the journey, or the reality was they were just left out. We didn't know how to include them a lot of the time. So I was offered this amazing opportunity in 2016 to build recovery programming for families. Through the new position, which was started with Oasis, we built the Family Support Navigation Services. Center for Family Life and Recovery was the first agency to have been awarded that grant, and also Prevention Network started the same day in February of 2016. This has allowed me to really work on the importance of including the whole family, not only for the person with the substance use disorder, but so they can have their own journey to learn the tools to help build their own lives again. Addiction is this amazing thing. You don't realize how much you change your life to adjust around addiction, or when somebody struggles with an illness, or you just focus on a person in your life very, very differently. So I often ask parents and spouses, brothers and sisters, if addiction was not part of your life, what would it be like? If you might imagine, the number one answer is sleep. The parents especially laugh and they say, I would be able to sleep through the night. A lot of parents also say, I'd be traveling, I would be enjoying my retirement very differently. And then it gets serious. And the one that stops is the reality of all of this. Parents especially say, I would not be living in fear that I could lose my child. I would not be living in hopelessness that I can't do anything about this. Because families are often told that, the person has to do it. You can't do it for them. And there is a reality to that. A person's journey in recovery has to be driven by them. But it doesn't mean that they have to be helpless or hopeless as family members. And the reality is, Dr. Myers really said it best, and he is the creator of CRAFT. Family members have a really unique expertise in their family, and that expertise can really help navigate how we move forward. When a loved one is able to change the way that they interact, their course of engagement, many people find recovery. Family is a pathway to recovery. It is such hard work. And family members often say, I really feel like I'm working harder than they are. And you know what? Sometimes they are. That said, sometimes that work is what helps someone to move forward. That work is what helps to change that cycle of addiction. I am so blessed and so proud to work with so many families that have been able to learn how to support their loved ones in different ways. They accept them differently, they communicate differently, they learn about addiction and recovery so that they can support it forward differently. And they're building a whole family recovery. They are such a large impact of what changes that cycle. So to all the families out there, you really can make a difference. Let us help you make that difference and learn how to do that. You are not helpless in this. One of the other things that always stayed with me, Lynetta Albright said something. She said, treatment is about reducing the symptoms of addiction. And for me, that was the first time I really thought, why are addiction and recovery seemingly so separate sometimes? Recovery is really about living. And there really is a beautiful symbiotic relationship between these two that have to exist. Treatment works. Treatment helps people get to a place where they can start to live. Infusing that practice of recovery is a must. And by practice, go back to that idea of move a muscle, change your life. We have to actually do things actively. And this is where loved ones can also support the journey. You can help people move that muscle. You are one of the greatest pieces of recovery capital anyone can have. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I find change and process to be really hard. I think I would say that most human beings do kick up their heels when we have to change. It's natural that it feels unnatural. And individuals and families struggle with this process. Stigma is hard and it's painful. Judgments happen. Others seeing paths that may be easier or more secure and then telling you what you have to do, or others creating a structure for your life that may be part of a program. It can be really hard to focus on the journey. There can be a lot of discomfort in that process. And then we've got to add our brains in there. So through our behaviors, through the way we live our lives, we're teaching our brain how to interact with the world. We're teaching our brain where to get reward and pleasure. This part of the brain does not heal quickly when we have a substance use disorder. There are just many things that make recovery a challenge. And add in, everything we do as human beings comes from this positive internal desire. And I'm going to share the unpopular discussion point. Even substance use serves a purpose. There is something in this that we can't ignore, even if we really want to. Using has this positive impact that someone is really looking for. If we use that, we can try to fulfill that need in a better way. If we don't, the reality is the brain knows how to fulfill that need, and it becomes part of the cycle. So whether it's needing a break from the world, I don't know about you guys, but I think it's a fair assessment. We all need a break sometimes, right? Or not dealing with trauma, or just feeling good for a moment, connecting with other people through social use. There is this internal connection, and we can find other ways to do it. We really can. But it's not about knowing better. It's about doing and practicing. And that's the piece that we can really start to infuse more. It is one of the things that has become so exciting for me, that the field is shifting into realizing that this positive forward moving practice is really important. So this is why we need that interconnectedness of treatment and recovery. Individuals have so much to process and to learn and to move through, and they need an active space to practice living. Practice by doing. If a person stops using and they don't put a life on top of it worth living, it is really hard to maintain sobriety. The addition of peer professionals, has probably been my favorite change in this whole system. It's an opportunity to bridge what happens clinically in an office to living practically with a coach. Treatment works. Recovery is forever. It's life. It is not the absence of use. It is what human beings strive for every day, to have stability, purpose, community, and joy. Recovery is not just for the individual with a substance use disorder. It's a practice of wellness for everybody. So I want to leave you with two things. SAMHSA's definition of recovery states, recovery is a process of change through which individuals improve their health and wellness, live self-directed lives, and strive to reach their full potential. I don't know about you, but I don't know a whole lot of people, if anyone, who's not trying to do that. And at a training Jordan Eubanks shared, when you look at that definition, there is no mention of substance use or mental health. And I loved that because this is about living. So I encourage you to keep that in mind. It is less what you're doing to not use and what are you doing to live. The second thing I will leave you with is recovery is possible. To the loved ones, you have so much power to help individuals move forward, and to all of you fighting so hard to live a life beyond addiction, I see it every day. I watch people make this happen, have beautiful lives, and it does not have to have a hold on your life forever. You can do this, and there is help and there is hope. Reach out to your family support navigators. Reach out to your recovery centers, your treatment centers, your recovery allies like Friends of Recovery, and so much more, because we are on this journey with you. We are on this journey together. We can't do it independent of each other. So let us be a team in this together. Thank you.